Facebook here, and you can all let me know when that happens, which might not be instantaneously.
The recording.
Okay, just 1 second.
Priyanka Mataji, will you be able to read?
No, she said no.
She said
Okay.
no. Yeah.
Sorry, I missed that. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, she said that before you joined. So do. Okay.
Close the door.
So still trying hard, dear Facebook devotees. I'm trying to go live as usual. Okay. All right. So how is your day going, Mataji?
Good.
Mine, no change.
It is good because change is a very constant thing here in this material world.
Just go for a walk and come back. That's all. Chanting. Attending the classes. That's it.
That's a good thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. And today's Friday, so which scripture do we read on Fridays? Can somebody remind me?
Namaste Mataji is here.
Now it's live, Shraddha Mataji.
You're live. Fantastic. So let me search here also.
Yeah.
All right.
Namaste Mataji, will you be able to read today? Okay, she said she can't read. Thank you.
Okay. So we are live on Facebook, and Vidya Vadhu Mataji is there. Congrats pranams to you, Mataji. And we're going to get started here. And Dilip Patel Prabhu also joined us. Fantastic. Congrats pranams to you, Prabhuji, also. And let's go further and start recording here. I'm already recording on Zoom. So we'll just get started, dear devotees watching us here on Zoom as well as on Facebook. Today is Friday, and we're going to do Srimad Bhagavatam, the Amal Purana. We're going to read from that. And what chapter are we reading these days?
1.8.
1.8.12.
And 1.8 is famous for what?
Uttara's prayers.
And one more person's prayers. Which one?
Kunti.
Queen Kunti's prayer.
Kunti.
Yes,
Kunti.
thank you. Yes, there you go. So let's get going then with a short prayer now. Today, Om Jnanatimarandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. Nashcha Prayeshva Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki Tada Rajastamo Bhava Kamalo Bhadayascha Yet Cheta Iterana Vrittam Sitam Sattve Prasidati Shunvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hidyantasto Hiya Bhadrani Vidunoti Suhitsatam Asadhu Sadhu Tadaim Atini Chuchutokara Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam ki jai. Okay, so praying to Srimad Bhagavatam to help ourselves rise from the lower position that we are in the material world to a much higher position, which is the transcendental world. Learning from the many stories that we have. So we will start the class today first, not with Srimad Bhagavatam, but with Bhagavad Gita, right? And which chapter are we doing? We'll read that chapter so that we cover our duty of reading one chapter of Bhagavad Gita every day.
17th chapter.
17 says Vaishana Mataji, and we cannot deny her. So we will read from the 19th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And here we are.
Which chapter, Mataji?
Bhagavad Gita
17.
17.
17. Yes, here we go.
We're not reading 8, huh?
8 is from Bhagavatam, Mataji. We will read that after we do.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
And you have to read it. Will you, Mataji?
Okay, Mataji. Chapter 17, the divisions of faith. Text 1, Arjuna inquired, O Krishna, what is the situation of those who do not follow the principles of scriptures but worship according to their own imagination? Are they in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance? Text 2. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can be of three kinds, in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance. Now hear about this. Sukamala Mataji.
Thank you. Text 3. O son of Bharata, according to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. The living being is said to be of a particular faith according to the modes he has acquired. Text 4. Men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods, those in the mode of passion worship the demons, and those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits. Shana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much. Those who undergo severe austerities and penance not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride and egoism, who are impelled by lust and attachment, who are foolish and who torture the material elements of the body as well as the super soul dwelling within, are to be known as demons. Hare Krishna. Text 7. Even the food each person prefers is of the three kinds. According to the three modes of material nature, the same is true of sacrifice, austerities, and charity. Now here of the distinctions between them. Hare Krishna. Sadhana Mataji. Sadhana Mataji.
I think she's reading in.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
No?
Now, yes.
Yeah.
Now we can hear.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I think my screen got lost, or yeah, it's frozen, I think. So, is it text 7?
Text
8.
8.
Text 8. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, yes.
I
we
think
can.
she's not able to hear us.
Okay.
Ah.
Okay. Sorry, because the screen is frozen because I'm only seeing, I see Shraddha Devi Dasi's name, but I'm seeing Vijan Mala. Oh, now you're back. Okay. That was confusing. Sorry. Text 8. Foods dear to those in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence, and give strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such foods are juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart. Text 9. Foods that are bitter, too sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry, and burning, are dear to those in the mode of passion. Such foods cause distress, misery, and disease. Shruti Priya Mataji?
Hare Krishna. Text 10. Food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten, food that is tasteless, decomposed, and putrid, and food consisting of remnants and untouchable things is dear to those in the mode of darkness. Text 11. Of sacrifices, the sacrifice performed according to the directions of Scripture as a matter of duty by those who desire no reward is of the nature of goodness. Khyati Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Text 12. But the sacrifice performed for material benefit or for the sake of pride, O chief of the Bharatas, you should know to be in the mode of passion. Text 13. Any sacrifice performed without regard for the direction of scripture, without distribution of prasadam, spiritual food, without chanting of Vedic hymns and remuneration to the priest, and without faith is considered to be in the mode of ignorance. Vindhyavali Mataji?
Text 14. Austerity of the body consists in worship of the Supreme Lord. The Brahmanas, the spiritual master, and superiors like the father and mother, and in cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literatures. Sukamala Mataji.
Yeah. Text 16. And satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self control, and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind. Text 17. This threefold austerity performed with transcendental faith by men not expecting material benefits but engaged only for the sake of the Supreme is called austerity in goodness. Vashana
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Penance performed out of pride and for the sake of gaining respect, honor, and worship is said to be in the mode of passion. It is neither stable nor permanent. Text 19. Penance performed out of foolishness with self-torture or to destroy or injure others is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna. Sadhana Mataji.
Charity given out of duty without expectation of return at the proper time and place and to a worthy person is considered to be in the mode of goodness. But charity performed with the expectation of some return or with a desire for some fruitive results or in grudging mood is said to be charity in the mode of passion. Shruti Priya Mataji.
Text 22. And charity performed at an impure place, at an improper time, to unworthy persons, or without proper attention and respect is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Text 23. From the beginning of creation, the three words Om Tat Sat were used to indicate the supreme absolute truth. These three symbolic representations were used by Brahmanas while chanting the hymns of the Vedas and during sacrifices for the satisfaction of the Supreme. Khyati Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Text 24. Therefore, transcendentalist undertaking performance of sacrifice, charity, and penance in order with scriptural regulation begin always with Om to attain the Supreme. Text 25. Without desiring fruitive results, one should perform various kinds of sacrifice, penance, and charity with the word Tat. The purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from material entanglement. Hare Krishna.
Text
Vindhyavali Mataji.
26 and 27. The absolute truth is the objective of devotional sacrifice, and it is indicated by the word Sat. The performer of such sacrifice is also called Sat, as are all works of sacrifice, penance, and charity which, true to the absolute nature, are performed to please the Supreme Person, O son of Pratha. Text 28. Anything done as sacrifice, charity, or penance without faith in the Supreme, O son of Pratha, is impermanent. It is called asat and is useless both in this life and the next. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. So we'll just take a few reflections on this chapter before we go to the next chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam.
Mataji, I like this 14 and 15, Mataji.
And why do you like it?
Because it says austerity of the body consists worshipping Supreme Lord and Brahmanas and spiritual master and superior, like father, mother, and cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, like that. And then the 15 is saying that austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasant, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. So I like this. It's a body and then speech also.
Right. Yes. What else? Anybody else?
That's right.
Good point. Yeah.
That's what I felt. When we speak, I know which we need to be very careful what we're speaking, how we're speaking.
Yes. And the reason and because the words that come out of your mouth cannot be taken back. Right? And they can keep on playing in somebody's mind. If we throw, like, if I throw a spear at somebody, right, and it hurts their arm, so it's going to hurt them, and then over a period of time it'll heal and the pain will go away, right? But then if I say something bad to somebody, then they have got that facility through the biggest enemy that we have, the mind. They have that facility to able to replay that over and over and again and feel hurt over and over again. And that's what we did most of the time. We live in the past and get angry or regret, or we live in the future and we fear for what's going to happen in the future. Like that. Yeah, so good.
When we were young, my mother and others used to say, when you fell, if you slip or something, if you fell on the floor, then you can come back and you can take it back, But if you do the speech, you cannot take it back. That's what we used to learn when we were young.
Yeah.
Mataji, it's interesting that here in schools, they teach that we don't use our hands, we use our words. And we, like when my boys were little, I also taught them not to, push anybody or, use your hands and just talk and speak and not use your hands. And I'm just finding this fact interesting that, it is right that the words are actually more harmful than and permanent.
Yeah. Do you know what is a barbed wire? Barbed. BARBED. What's a barbed wire, Varshana Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, barbed wire is a which we use it for the fencing. It has a thing coming out which can harm you.
It's something sharp there, right? Twisted.
Yes,
protruding from the wire. And have you ever heard the word barbed tongue?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so some people have.
One more thing, Mataji, nowadays, that the way it says austerity of the body consists, like worshipping Supreme Lord, or Brahmanas, or spiritual master, or mother, father. All those things are not that much I see nowadays.
Yeah.
That's a sad thing, I feel.
Yeah.
When we were young, we used to do all that. If anybody comes,
It
we
is
had to
Kali Yuga.
respect and you had to say namaskar like that.
Yes, it's Kali Yuga, and it's the influence of the Western culture.
Now they
Yeah,
say
I should not just blame the Western culture also on that, because I know that, like if you look at if you watch any of the Western movies from few decades ago, or maybe for not few now, 5, 6 decades ago, the sons used to call their father as sir.
yeah.
Sir, right? So that was the respect they gave. Sadhna Mataji.
Yeah, I think this idea that we get spoiled by the Western culture
That's true.
is not true in my mind, because I grew up in the West. And I remember when I think I was 12 years old, and my friend went to India to see her family. And when I was growing up, there were things we didn't do or go to. When she went to India at the age of 12, she ended up going to parties with her cousins, and they would then change in the bathrooms and things, and we didn't see things like that. And I didn't bring up, and I have Western friends who still don't do things like that. So I think it just depends on a human being and what culture, because even in the West, there are a lot of people with good culture, but
Yes.
what most people think of Western culture is what's on television and movies. And I think that's probably the more culprit here, is
Yes,
what's represented in media.
exactly.
See, we went after we came here, after 3 years, we went back to India to perform my daughter's wedding. And everybody started looking at us and he said, you didn't change at all. You didn't change at all. You have the same hairstyle and same everything. And sari, we are wearing big bindi. I said, what should we change? 3 years they wanted us to change something, foreign return. I said,
Yes.
so those things nowadays, of course, they're changing a lot now.
Yeah.
At that time.
Yeah, and so that's why I was saying that you can't blame. I just can't say it's the Western influence. In as much as and very rightly point out that television, whatever you see on the television, because when I also had this idea that everybody in America, roams around in swimming suits, because that's what you saw in the movies, right? And I've lived in this place for so many years now, almost 25 years, but I have never seen anybody come out in a swimming suit on the roads, right? And I was also very pleasantly surprised that the concept of parental guidance for movies.
Yeah, that's true. That is mainly.
And I just thought that, what does parental guidance mean? And then I was talking in my office, and one of the ladies said, well, parental guidance means that if you find some scene is coming, then you put the hands on the eyes of the child and say you can't watch it. I was like, wow. I mean, everything was uncensored and anybody could watch anything. And, the cable TV is there, all kinds of things are coming there. Yes. So what I told my daughter when she came here was, I told her that, you have to pick the best from both the cultures. You can choose the words also from both the cultures, but pick the best from both the cultures, like that. Yeah.
No, in India also it's changing a lot. And India also it's changing.
It's Kali Yuga, yeah. It's Kali Yuga.
Cannot say.
Right. And it's the effect of materialism, not east or west. Whoever goes down the path of materialism will want to go to the bathroom and change. Like you said, for a party. Yeah.
As things are going.
It's Kali Yuga, it's predicted. It's going to happen.
Sad. It's sad to know. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday in yesterday's class, Vaishish Kapoor mentioned something very nice when he was talking about Advaita Acharya. And then he said, like, those parents who think that their kids are not into devotional service like the way we are, they said, don't worry. Don't fret about it, because Advaita Acharya's kids also did the same thing. Some went this way, some went that way, and they did it. And it was actually, that is the pastime. Look at Srila Prabhupada also, right? That's the pastime. That they're telling you that it's going to happen, then it's okay. I mean, there's nothing much you can do about it. It's not that it's okay, that you can't do anything about it. And if you can't do anything about it, it's in your circle of concern. It's not in your circle of concern. It's only going to lead to worrisome behavior. So like that, yeah.
Somebody sent that Advaitastakam or something, Mataji. Bhakti Chara Maharaj sang. It was very good.
Very nice, yeah.
It was very beautiful.
Every year when
Mataji.
Yeah, go ahead. Vashana Mataji?
Actually, Mataji, it is the media which, you see, presents the country in an absolutely different way.
You're very right, because when I came here to USA, when they were portraying India, they were glorifying the fact that there were so many computer engineers, and the computer was so much. And then he said, in the land of the snake charmers. And I was like, it's not the land of the snake charmers, right? I mean, yes, there are snake charmers, but not everybody is a snake charmer. It's the media.
Correct.
Yeah, it's the media, whatever you are. And it's so that's why we have to be very, very careful. And the thing about the media is that, okay, there is a television, which we grew up as the main media of communication or dissemination of information, but at one point the television would stop broadcasting, and then it would not follow you other than that it followed you in your mind. Yeah, right? You could watch a jingle on the TV and sing it the whole day like that. But here it's become even worse. And that is that today you go to a website and search for something, anything, maybe a calculator, or I don't know if calculators are there these days or not, just for the sake of it. And then tomorrow you go there and you're looking at something else. You're looking at Srimad Bhagavatam, reading Srimad Bhagavatam. And then something will pop from the corner and it'll say, calculators on sale. That's the media. It remembers you. It follows you and emphasizes the same thing again and again. Hey, you want to buy this? He bought this 6 years ago. And people who bought this also bought that and that. And then, our mind goes like, I also want that and I also want that. So it's all this business intelligence, and it's amazing. It's crazy. Yeah. Like that. Good. So shall we move to Bhagavatam?
Yes, Mataji.
Thoughts here?
Yes, Mataji.
Are you ready to go to Bhagavatam? All right. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so who is going to read?
I think it's my turn.
It is your turn, so Komal Radhe Mataji.
Yeah, Vindhyavali Mataji read last, so it's Komal Radhe Mataji's turn.
Yes.
Satyavata Muni Shrestha. That's it.
तर्हि एवाथा मुनिश्रेष्ठा पाण्डवः पञ्चसायकान् आत्मनो भूमिकान् दीप्तान् आलक्ष्यस्त्राणि उपाददः उपाददुः
Daduhu, and we will see what is the meaning of daduhu. Okay, daduhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Trahi, then, Ev also, Atha, therefore, Muni Shrestha, O chief amongst the Munis, Pandava, all the sons of Pandu, Pancha, 5, Saikan, weapons, Atmanaha, own selves, Abhimukhan, towards, Deeptan, daring, Alakshya, seeing it, Astrani, weapons, Upadadu, took up, Upadadu, took up. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Translation. Oh, sorry. Do you want to?
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Your turn, Nodimate.
Translation of foremost among the great thinkers, Munis, Shaunika, seeing the glaring Brahmastra proceeding towards them, the Pandavas took up their 5 respective weapons. Shrutripiya Mataji.
Shruti, is she frozen?
Mataji, you might be reading on mute, Shruti Priya Mataji.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi is unstable. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Mataji.
Okay. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The Brahmastras are finer than nuclear weapons. Ashwatthama discharged the Brahmastra simply to kill the Pandavas, namely the 5 brothers headed by Maharaja Yudhishthira and their only grandson who was lying within the womb of Uttara. Therefore, the Brahmastra, more effective and finer than the atomic weapons, was not as blind as the. Can we scroll, Mataji?
Sorry.
Shraddha Mataji, can
Not as blind as the atomic bombs.
Was not as blind as the atomic bombs. When the atomic bombs are discharged, they do not discriminate between the target and others. Mainly, the atomic bombs do harm to the innocent because there is no control. The Brahmastra is not like that. It marks out the target and proceeds accordingly without harming the innocent.
Okay. Time to reflect.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
It is so nice, Mataji, that Brahmastra used to, target only the person whom they want to really kill. And when I see in the war, Mataji, that many innocent are also being killed. And you see, during the war of Pakistan, and after that for China, Mataji, I was a small baby that time. And I remember, Mataji, that when they used to bomb, and they had targeted Ambala cantonment, because there was a air force. You see, there is a air force station. Main air force station is there. They wanted to harm that, and Mataji, instead of that, they harmed the church, and so many people, those who were praying over there, all of them got killed, Mataji. It was so bad when I saw that, Mataji. I mean, I was a baby, and it really left the impact on my mind. Hare Krishna, Mataji. So Brahmastra is a much more advanced, I should say, than the bombing and that.
Mataji, can you explain about this Brahmastra who created this?
Yeah, so Brahma Astra actually is not a weapon that we can point out to and say, look here, that weapon, that's a Brahmastra. As you can point out and say, this is a spear, this is an arrow, this is a mace, right? This is a chakra, and like that, right? So in Brahmastra, the Brahmastras are based on mantras. So they will pick up any arrow. They will pick up any arrow, and then they will chant the mantra on it. And so when you do the mantra, then you will say what this arrow is supposed to target and what this arrow is, who this arrow is supposed to kill, right? And so whatever mechanism that you use, so it'll go and then it'll go and kill just that precise person. And you can also withdraw it because it's being controlled by the mantra. So you recite the mantra. And so in chapter 7, there were a lot of paragraphs that we mentioned and about this Brahmastra, how, like as Varshana Mataji said about innocence, and she had just confined that to church, and the devotees over there were killed because of that. And you just go back a few decades and hear about Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan, the Holocaust, which was there, right? And so somebody dropped the bomb, and the effect was not just there, not just then, and it was not in that localized place. People many kilometers around that place where the bombs were dropped were affected, and not only geographically the problem, the effect was not felt, geographically. It was not, spent in places which were distant geographically, but also felt in places which were distant on time, on a time scale. That is, 2 or 3 generations later, babies were born who were defective with no limbs and things like that because of all the, the effects of the nuclear bombarding were still there. But Brahmastra, on the other hand, is just completely governed by the mantra. So it's a higher and a superior weapon. I mean, and so we call ourselves as very advanced, and so we have got advanced weapons. We have got yes, we are advancing in being better butchers and things like that, using those kind of things. But if you really want to see about advancement of weapons, then Brahmastra is an example. And so we just use there's Bhumi, what is that? Earth, water, fire, ether, air. So all of
Bhumirapo nalo vayu kimano buddhirevacha.
Amano Buddhirevacha, there you
Sankariti me bhinna prakrutishtada.
Ashtada, right? So you can use all of them and make weapons out of them. We only hear about weapon made of earth, right? So you have bombs, or you have maces, bullets and things like that. But there are weapons made out of water also, and those of you, and fire also. So these are fire weapons. Gun is a fire weapon, and others are made of earth. But then how to counteract a fire weapon, right? So or I mean, bullet is one of the example of fire weapon. I mean, there are other fire weapons which will just set things to fire, and then there are water weapons that you can discharge, which will go and quench all the fire there. So will overpower the fire. So you must have watched that in Ramayana, and so not that they were just showing like that. These weapons were there. They were there. And then there are the mental weapons people can also use by controlling the mind, and then use that as a weapon. Tongue is also a weapon.
Mataji, can I ask something?
Yeah, please.
Like Varshana Mataji is saying that, when they did that bombing, it didn't hurt their people were praying in the church. They got killed, a lot of them. So that way, how will think of Supreme Personality of Godhead? God is, how you explain that with God's deeds, Mataji? Like this COVID also. Lot of, like Bhakti Char Maharaj left, See, these things, we feel that COVID is there, but all over the world, seeing people, and so many people are getting killed, and that's what I don't know. I'm not able to understand anything from Mataji. Is there any explanation? Anything you can tell me?
So what do we want? Krishna?
Because innocent people all are praying in the church.
Yes.
So they got killed, not even one person, but
Yeah.
all of them are sinful people.
Why,
Or all of them did something wrong? Or God wants all of them?
Why not?
So that makes me confused, Mataji.
Why would God not want all of them? They are his devotees. Why would he not want them back? It's those who stay behind. They are the ones who look it like that. Now, laws of karma are gruesome. And so and they are difficult to understand also, why they were killed like that. And it's very nicely explained that sometimes you might see, because we only see a part of it on the on the time spectrum. And what I mean by that is that if you see there is an old woman trying to cross the road, and some robber comes and pushes her down, snatches her chain, beats her up, and she gets hurt. She's crying that pick me up, pick me up. He runs away, right? And you might just say, she was such a nice old woman. She was going to the temple or wherever she was going. Why did Krishna allow that to happen? So you're only looking at that part of it. You do not know what that old woman did in her past lives, or 10 million lives ago, like that. And there's this question at the end of Mahabharata. Dhritarashtra asked that question of Krishna. And he says, what did I do that all my 100 sons are killed? I mean, if you look at it from mundane perspective, I mean, he was just like any other father. He wanted his sons to, succeed in life. And in so many ways, you can also think that, if Pandu was out of the picture, then Dhritarashtra was the king, and then his sons should have just continued like that. You can also look at it like that. And so he asked that question of Krishna, and then Krishna says that, well, you know what, 100 or some lifetimes ago, he had ruthlessly killed the babies, 100 babies of a bird. They had laid the eggs of some bird, so he had killed them ruthlessly. And then so he asked, and he says that, but why did it take such a long time? I had to take 100 birds and then suffer for this sin that I have committed so hundreds of birds ago. And then Krishna said that for you to have 100 sons, to have sons born to you, you also have to get some kind of sukriti to get a son. So you also had to, so you see, he must have done some good things also in his previous life. But then from the past, karma comes back and visits you. So if you are just staying on the mundane plane and just doing good and bad, then punar charvita charvananam, or you will go from the lowest planet to the higher planet, and will keep on moving like a hamster. And this is the way of life. This is how the material world is. Jivo jivasya jivanam. So it says that one food, one item, one species is the food for another species. The food cycle, right? We hear about that. So you never know. You never know what those people sitting in the church did. And we also don't know what happened to them next. And so Krishna's ways are very amazing, but we have to always remember that whatever he does, and no matter how hard it is for us to digest it at that point, but whatever he does is for the ultimate good. It is for the ultimate good. Because on the other hand, if we see that, okay, then what is Krishna supposed to do? Let's see, if Krishna did not intervene and I'm here in this world, what do I expect Krishna to do for me? What do I want my order supplier to supply to me? Right? If we say he should have supplied nice food to me, he should have given me some trees that I go sit down under them and I wish for anything and it'll happen. He should have given me a cow that will give me anything that I want, will give me not only milk and give me anything that I want, right? He should have arranged for me that I don't grow old. He should have arranged for me for this and that. He should arrange for me that I'm away from envy and all that. He did arrange that. He arranged all that in Golok Vrindavan for all of us. Right? He started from good. And then we are the naughty ones. We are being punished. So we have to understand that it's been punished. And Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, when he left the body, so many people were saying that he used to say, so many times he used to say, Prabhupada, I have done whatever I had to do. Whatever you asked me to do, I have completed my project. Prabhupada, call me back. He used to say that. He used to say that.
But he was just chanting and he was preaching and everything.
And that's fine.
But he can go, but not with kind of like COVID or something,
Why?
That's what I feel.
That's a Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj Leela. You have to look at it from the Leela perspective, because Bhakti Charu Swami is a soul. Right?
Yeah.
And that's what second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is saying, that he's a soul, nothing happened to him. COVID did not touch him, and he lives forever, right? And if he left the body and if he left this planet, then who's the unfortunate one? Is he the unfortunate one?
Yeah.
We are the unfortunate
We are
ones.
the unfortunate ones. You
We
see?
are the unfortunate
We are the
ones.
unfortunate ones, not him. He's gone, guaranteed. A life like that in Kali Yuga is guaranteed going back to Godhead, Guaranteed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really sorry.
And Hare Krishna, Motherji. And Motherji, Bhakti Charu Maharaj, you see, when first he refused that I don't want to be on the ventilator. But then when the devotees insisted, he said, okay, do whatever you want to do with my body. Because he was he knew that my soul is intact, it is with me. And I'm the soul, I'm not the body. So that was a wonderful, you see.
Right. But yes, thank you for reminding us of that. And same thing with Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Same thing with Prabhupada. The day he takes sannyas, or a day or two after that, he's got gored by a bull. He's an old man, and the bull comes and goads him. So they, through all these are their leelas and their pastimes, and they are telling us that this is what happens to the body. So try to get out of that cycle of birth and death. So
That took a long way to understand, that took a long way to understand this kind of things.
Yes, yeah.
reading, but that soul is not going to change. Body is the one. But still, the feeling, I got like now, it's something still angry for me.
Yeah. Slowly, slowly with the devotional service and hearing and chanting, the faith in Krishna will grow. The faith in God will grow. And that is why, when people are very advanced in the devotional service, their prayers are so refined. They say that, oh Lord, do whatever you have to do to me. Just give me the strength to bear it. So they're not questioning Krishna at all. They're not questioning Krishna at all. And even higher than that are, the story, of, I think it was Uddhav who goes and Krishna sends him off to find out who is a good devotee of the Lord. So he goes from place to Brahma, and Krishna says, okay, tell them to give them some dust from their feet because my head is aching, forehead.
Yeah.
So he goes there, right? And so first person says, no. Second person says, no. Are you crazy putting dust on the forehead of the Lord? I'll rot in hell for so many lifetimes. I cannot do that. So he goes from place to place, from yogi to yogi to yogi to yogi. Everybody refuses. And then he comes to the gopis. And the gopis says, all right, here you go. And they take some dust off. And then I think it was Narad, and he says, what? Are you not afraid that you'll go to hell? He said, that's fine. As long as Krishna's forehead is, the pain in his forehead is gone, by us doing this, we are fine. So they look at their faith and the love. So they say, Prema Pumarto Mahan. Right? And then also they say, especially for the good people, they say that, when good people are going through these kind of seemingly painful situations, and I'm saying seemingly because they seem painful to you, but they are not painful to them. We might think, who knows? Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, had like 20 hours to chant. You're thinking he's in coma and things like that. You have no idea what the soul is doing there. So our vision is limited. We just go by what the scriptures say. And Krishna says, Samoham sarva bhutesu, I'm equal to everybody. So when he says I'm equal to everybody, he's just saying that, here are the laws, and the laws are applicable to everybody. And you can see whether rich or poor, right? They get affected by the laws of material nature. But then he also gives us relief. Now, if you're just thinking that I don't know what I did, who I killed 400 lifetimes ago, am I going to suffer for that? What's going to happen? And get scared and, like that. But then he says, Brahmaji says that in Brahma Samhita, karmani nirdhati kintu cha bhakti bhajam, that your karmas will get dissolved. By bhakti bhajam, by doing your bhakti, your karmas will get dissolved. And then the question will be asked that, but then how come a good person, he was initiated, and how come he died? Right? Or how come a person is initiated but does so much of seva in the temple, how come they got cancer? We think like that, right? So when you see difficult people going through difficult situations, especially those who are very much advanced in devotional service, do not think that the difficulties that they're going through is because of karmic reactions. It is not karmic reaction. The karmic reactions, that the slate is already cleaned. But they go through these things because if there are some last vestiges of attachment or some little improvement or some anarthas are still there, then going through these kind of distressful situations, they cleanse it. It has a cleansing effect on them. And in the verse, Tattenukampam susamikshmano punjanamevatma kritam vipakam hidvagvapubhir vidadan namaste jive tayo mukti pade sadaya bha. So whenever there is some trouble in the life of a devotee, he says, Anukampa, it is your special mercy on me. Anukampa. Why? Because I deserved worse. And because I'm your devotee, you're being partial to me, and you are, kind of, lightening up, diluting the punishment that I was supposed to receive. And even in that situation, he uses his mind and body. Hidvag vapubhir, right? And so his mind, his words, and his body. He uses all three of them to glorify the Lord. And when such a person reaches that stage that he's able to glorify the Lord even in those situations, then such a person is eligible for liberation. Because now it has become his janam siddha adhikar. It has become his birthright. And Vachika Prabhu always gives this example that a rich person's son, what is the meaning of birthright? A rich person's son just has to stay alive, not do anything stupid like driving fast under a drunken state and then bashing the car and dying. All that he has to do is to stay alive, to inherit everything from his father. That's all he has to do. Similarly, when we are going through all these situations with that kind of a mood, then liberation becomes your janam siddhatika, your birthright. You will get it. All you have to do is continue in your devotional service. You will get that. So doubting is a natural thing. It's a function of the intelligence to ask these kind of questions, and you will get answers. Slowly, Shraddha will increase, Adau Shraddha tata sadhu sangha. And one might just think that, well, Shraddha, and then I've got sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya, yes, I have got initiated, and anartha nivritti, I don't have any anarthas. So why is that happening to us, right? So Shraddha also comes, in phases, and it kind of grows. And I was saying that from Komal Shraddha, right, but the mind can swing from this side to another side, so saying that I'm a devotee of the Lord. He didn't do anything. Okay, bas, khadam. I'm going to stop devotional service. I'm going to go back to my old days. Shraddha is Komal. And when a person is going to do that, in the beginning, Shraddha is Komal. When a person is going to do that, you need sadhu sangha around you. You need sadhus around you who will pull you back and tell you, please, you are going through miserable. Let me tell you miseries I'm going through. And then you're like, oh my goodness, this person is in a worse condition than I am. So they pull you back. And that's why it's very important to have devotees in your life. That's the best thing that you can have in your life, to have devotee association, because they will help you strengthen your Shraddha. So the doubts will go away. Why is my father doing this? My father
Thank you, Mother.
is good, right? Yeah.
And Queen Kunti's prayers are the epitome of this situation. So
Yes, epitome. That's the word.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's all the
Yeah.
I mean, she goes through all the horrific things that she's seeing are happening to all her children and her grandchildren, right? Uttara is related to her, all her sons. So to have that at the mother's level and to feel is a whole different kind of pain, right? So
Exactly.
and her prayers are there, but we get to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is dukhalayam, and these kind of bombings that happen, and people are dying, and the body parts are getting off, and kids are orphaned, or women are widowed. Shouldn't that be a good deterrent for us to say, I want to get out of this place? But the sad part is we don't want to get out of this place. There's hope. It's going to happen to them, not to me. And when it happens to us, then the lamentation starts. That's why they say the fools learn from other people's, fools learn from their mistakes. Wise people learn from other people's mistakes. You see other people's other people suffering. So I should not do that. I should not go. But others are like, no, it won't happen to me. Let me try that drug. Yeah, I know that one is a drug addict. I will not get addicted. I'll just have a little. I'm strong. I'm smart. I am. Your false ego. I am something. That one was a foolish one. I don't know why he overdosed like that. So, so Ashwatthama had released the Brahmastra, right? And so why do you think he had released the Brahmastra? What was his relationship with the Pandavas? What sort of relationship he had?
He was the son of their teacher.
Yeah. So why kill the son? Why kill them? Why kill the students of your father? So what was the sort of relationship he had with Pandavas? Was he friends? Was he related? Was he bosom buddies? Who were they? What was his relationship?
His father's disciple.
Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, he became jealous, enmity he had with them because, yeah, Yeah, because and he wanted to kill the last person of coming to the world of Pandavas also, and that was the reason he used the Brahmastra on Uttara, because he knew that she is in a family way. So that was the reason he wanted to kill, and he was always with Duryodhana, and he used to take the side of Duryodhana. And since Pandavas had killed everybody, so he wanted to take revenge from.
Yeah. And once Prabhupada in his morning walk, somebody asked Prabhupada, what is a devotee's greatest enemy? And thank you for bringing that part. Yes, animosity was the biggest relationship that he had. He was inimical towards the Pandavas, right? So somebody asked Prabhupada that, what is the who's a devotee's greatest enemy? And Prabhupada, what does he say? Do you remember?
Maya.
Maya, right? And then and then some other occasions he says he himself is his own enemy because he's a rascal, and because of that he's his own greatest enemy, right? So he says nobody is your enemy, actually you yourself are your enemy. And our biggest enemy is what is our biggest enemy?
Our mind.
Our mind, right? That is our biggest enemy. And there are other enemies also that we have. And let's look at some poetry here. And I'm beginning to share that with you. And whose turn is it? Who's the lucky one who gets to read?
My turn, Mataji.
Okay, Khyati Mataji, give us one paragraph from here.
O he Vaishnava Thakur, Dayar Sagar, Eda se Karuna Kori, Diya Pad Chaya, Shodho he Amaya, Tomara Charan Dori.
Very nice. Next one.
Thank you, Mataji.
Vindhyavali Mataji.
Chaya bega dami, chaya dosa sodi, chaya guna dehe dasi, chaya satsanga deho he amare, bosiche sangera asi.
Very nice.
Ki amara nahi paya bala, hari nama san kirtane. Tumi kripa kori, Shraddha bindu diya, deho Krishna nam dhane.
Very nice. Okay.
कृष्ण से तोमार कृष्ण दीते पारो तोमार शकतियाचे आमी तो कंगाल कृष्ण कृष्ण बोली दाई तब पाचे पाचे.
All right. Translation, please, one each.
Translation.
Go ahead. Yes.
Translation. O Venerable Vaishnava, devotee of Krishna, O Ocean of Mercy, be merciful unto your servant. Give me the shade of your lotus feet and purify me. I hold onto your lotus feet.
Teach me to control my 6 passions, rectify my 6 faults, bestow upon me the 6 qualities, and offer unto me the 6 kinds of holy association. Khyati Mataji. Khyati Mataji.
Do we have her? I don't see her really. Do you?
Yeah, she's there.
She's there.
What happened, Mataji?
Your turn.
You have to read.
Oh, my turn to read? Sorry. sorry. I do not find the strength to carry on alone the Sankirtana of the holy name of Hari. Please bless me by giving me just one drop of faith with which to obtain the great treasure. of the holy name of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Krishna is yours. You have the power to give him to me. I am simply your servant running behind you, shouting, Krishna, Krishna, Ye Krishna.
Continuing on.
Should I read that, Shraddha Mataji?
Yes,
The
please.
6 passions.
Yes, yes.
The 6 passions are those pertaining to words, the mind, anger, the tongue, the stomach, and the genitals. The 6 faults are overeating, attachment to material things, inability to follow regulative principles, sense gratification, useless idle talk, and impure habits. The 6 positive qualities are enthusiasm in practicing devotional service, firm faith in devotional processes, a strong desire to attain prema bhakti, a favorable service attitude, avoidance of non-devotees, and appreciation of the company of devotees. The 6 methods of association are to go to an assembly of devotees, to invite devotees into one's home, to discuss and hear devotional topics, to take the Mahaprasad of devotees, and to offer Mahaprasad to devotees.
There you go. So these bad habits are our enemies, right?
Yeah.
And we need the Brahmastra of the holy name to be able to, right? So I had said that you can use weapons. You can use weapons. So use transcendental sound vibrations to kill all these kinds of enemies that are surrounding us. This is our real enemy. People outside, that's fine. It's another soul in some sort of a body who's come here to equate the karma and to nullify your old karmic reactions which are there. They come, they go. Some will be rude, some will hurt us, some like that. But as we progress, our main thrust should be on how can I get over these enemies that are surrounding me. And there's a very nice section. We'll just do a few verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, because that's what we're doing today. And let's go. Canto 7 is famous for what? Famous story in Canto 7. Canto 7 of Bhagavatam.
Saints of God.
Sons of Drona punished.
The signs of God.
Canto 7 should immediately bring something to your mind.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj, there you go, right? It's famous for Prahlad Maharaj. Okay. So Lord Nrsimhadev kills the king, slays the king of the demons. But we're not going to go into that pastime, but just a little bit, let's go a little bit into it to continue on with the discussion that we're having. So again, let's see. Let's take one text each. Who was going to read now?
Hare Krishna Mataji, it's me. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mataji. Narad Muni continued. All the sons of demons appreciated the transcendental instructions of Prahlad Maharaj and took them very seriously. They rejected the materialistic instructions given by their teachers Shanda and
Amarka.
Shanda and Amarka.
Okay.
What is Amarka, Mataji?
It's a name of the two teachers.
Name. Shanda and Amarka. Name.
They were the teachers.
Okay.
So let's just pause here and give you a little bit of a background. So when Prahlad Maharaj was the son of the demon king, Hiranyakashipu, but he was the son of a king. So the princes are sent to learn certain things, politics, military art, and so on and so forth. So he was sending him off. And so these were two teachers. They were kind of like his teachers, but, the main teachers in the school that he was sent to study. And their teachers' names were Shand and Amarka. And they are the sons of Shanda and Amarka. Shukracharya. Very good for 2,000 points. So Shanda and Amarka are teaching him. And so now what they teach him, they try to teach him political science and so on and so forth, but he doesn't listen. Instead, what he does is in the school, he gathers his other friends and he starts to give them Vishnu Katha or Krishna Katha, like that, right? So now he's doing all that. So now text number 2. Whose turn is it to be?
Shruti Priya Mataji.
Sadhana
When Shanda and Amarka, the sons of Shukracharya. I'm talking, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
When Shanda and Amarka, the sons of Shukracharya, observed that all the students, the sons of demons, were becoming advanced in Krishna consciousness because of the association of Prahlad Maharaj, they were afraid. They approached the king of the demons and described the situation as it was.
Text 3:4. When Hiranyakashipu understood the entire situation, he was extremely angry, so much so that his body trembled. Thus, he finally decided to kill his son Prahlada. Hiranyakashipu was by nature very cruel, and feeling insulted, he began hissing like a snake trampled upon by someone's foot. His son Prahlada was peaceful, mild, and gentle. His senses were under control, and he stood before Hiranyakashipu with folded hands. According to Prahlada's age and behavior, he was not to be chastised. Yet, with staring, crooked eyes, Hiranyakashipu rebuked him with the following harsh words.
Text 5. Hiranyakashipu said, O most impudent, most unintelligent disruptor of the family, O lowest of mankind, you have violated my power to rule you, and therefore you are an obstinate fool. Today I shall send you to the place of Yamraj.
Text 6. My son Prahlada, you rascal, you know what, when I am angry, all the planets of the 3 worlds trembled, along with their chief rules. By whose power has a rascal like you become so impudent that you appear fearless and overstep my power to rule you?
Prahlad Maharaj said, My dear king, the source of my strength, of which you are asking, is also the source of yours. Indeed, the original source of all kinds of strength is one. He is not only your strength or mine, but the only strength for everyone. Without him, no one can get any strength. Whether moving or not moving, superior or inferior, everyone, including Lord Brahma, is controlled by the strength of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Hare Krishna. Text 8. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the supreme controller and time factor, is the power of the senses, the power of the mind, the power of the body, and the vital force of the senses. His influence is unlimited. He is the best of all living entities, the controller of the 3 modes of material nature. By his own power, he creates this cosmic manifestation, maintains it, and annihilates it also. Hare Krishna.
Sadhana Mataji.
Sadhana Mataji.
My screen is still showing text 8. Okay.
Getting cold to your computer.
Yeah, I'm here. I think my screen is still showing text 8.
Yeah. I have put a link. Oh, let me put the link to this in the chat so that you can click on that and read. Right?
Okay, so text 9, Prahlad Maharaj continued, My dear father, please give up your demonic mentality. Do not discriminate in your heart between enemies and friends. Make your mind equiposed towards everyone. Except for the uncontrolled, misguided mind, there is no enemy within this world. When one sees everyone in the platform of equality, one then comes to the position of worshipping the Lord.
Perfectly.
Perfect.
Right. So isn't that a very strong statement? What does he say about the enemy? What does Bhakta Prahlad say about enemies?
No enemy without this, within
My
this.
mind.
Right. When he
One
sees
sees everyone in the platform of equality.
except
Mind as the
for,
creatures.
yeah, except for the uncontrolled and misguided
Guided.
mind, there is no enemy within this world. That is the takeaway. So Ashwatthama is thinking Pandavas are my enemies and this and that. That's not the case. It is the uncontrolled and misguided mind. And if you go to text number 10, Dasyun pura shanna vijitya lampato. Whose turn is it?
Dashyunpurasanna vijatayo lampato manyanta ekaswajita disho dasha jitatmano
Yasya.
how do
Yasya.
samasya dehinam sadho swamoha prabhavaha kuta pare.
All right, then let's look at the translation. So Prahlad is telling that to his father. What is he saying to his father? Khyati Mataji is not there.
Yeah.
Khyati,
Mataji, I'm here.
yeah, you're very good. Okay.
Yeah. In former times, there were many fools like you who did not conquer the 6 enemies that steal away the wealth of the body. These fools were very proud, thinking, I have conquered all enemies in all the 10 directions. But if a person is victorious over the 6 enemies and is equipoised towards all entities, for him there are no enemies. Enemies are merely imagined by one in ignorance.
And
Hare
what's the
Krishna.
biggest ignorance? What is the biggest ignorance that we have?
That I am this body.
I am this body. All the enmity starts from there. We never have any enmity to anybody's soul. Right? Have you felt envious of it? Enmity, bad vibes to anybody's soul? No, it's just on the bodily platform. As much as, me and mine also hovers on a bad bodily platform. This is my son and my daughter. Enemies are also on that same platform, on the bodily platform. And so the root cause of everything is the false ego that makes a soul which is so beautiful, right? Remember, we had read in chapter 2, Ascharyavat vadati kastudenam, that some people say that he's full of wonder. Some people look upon him as wonderful, and some people, even after understanding him, do not understand, like that, right? So we are such a beautiful piece. But then because of the false ego, and we are being put into this illusion, and the reason that we are put into this illusion is so that we get out, the soul gets over its desire to be the controller and to be the enjoyer, away from, separated from Krishna. So those are the two things that are meant. That's why we are in this correctional facility, which is this material world. That's what. Yeah. So, but we are happy that we found Krishna. Sadhana Mataji.
So the mind is our worst enemy, right, as well as our friend. So is the ahamkar, the false ego, part of the mind, or is it separate? Or
It's a very interesting question that you say. I mean, when we hear from Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, right, Bhumi apo analo vayu kham mano buddhir evacha, right? Ahankara ityame bhinna prakriti ashtadha. Bhinna means different. So Bhumi, earth, right? That earth, water, fire, ether, he's counting all of them, the 8 energies. So they are bhinna prakriti, so they are different, but they are different from Krishna, right? Now, when it comes to mind and intelligence, um, if you read the Bhagavatam, they do talk about them as separate entities, and they are created in separate. But sometimes they say that, of course, when the Bhagavatam is describing that this is earth, this is sound, and so on and so forth, it is still that part of Bhagavatam is Sankhya Yoga, which is telling you about the material world. And so they say that in order to explain it to you, they will say that there is a mind and then there is an intelligence, although they are the same. It's just qualities of the same thing, like that. But for our understanding purposes, they separate it out, but they are just one and the same thing. It just functions like that. These are just functions that they're describing, like that. But as long as we know whether they are two separate energies or whether they're two separate entities or substance, two separate substances, as long as we know the qualities of both, right? That mind, the purpose of mind is just to generate thoughts, and it'll generate thoughts based on the impressions that are gathered over a long period of time, right? So it'll just gather those impressions or ideas. The soul can also put some ideas there, right? So to that extent, they say mind is in the mode of goodness and intelligence is in the mode of passion. They say that, right? And the reason for that is that mind is kind of just, neutral, just, generating thoughts one after the other, good thoughts, bad thoughts, good thoughts, bad thoughts, just presenting the whole thing in front of you. Now the intelligence gets to work on that, and no, this is not good, this is not good, this is bad, this is good, high level, low level. Intelligence does that jugglery of the thoughts, and then comes to a conclusion and presents the executive summary to the soul. Says here, top 3 from all these thoughts that the mind has generated, I recommend that you do this. But the soul can always go and say, all right, fine, I'm going to ignore the executive summaries, I'm going to look at all the data. And here you're making a mistake, although you're saying this, but I'm not going to follow that, I'm going to do this, like that. So yeah, sadhana Mataji, that's where it stands, whether they are different or the same or part. Because in our Sankhya Yoga, they don't mention memory, right? Right. Samskaras. Yeah. So samskaras are impressions in the mind. So mind and memory usually are together. But then Krishna also mentions memory separately, right? Where does Krishna mention memory in Bhagavad Gita? Tell me. Bhagavad Gita, memory. Oh.
Yes.
Huh? Tell me.
Is it when it describes women's?
Yes, very good.
Fine memory, yeah.
Yes, fine speech, memory, right?
Fine
Yeah.
speech.
So he mentions that separately. Very good, Sadhanaji. Fame, fine speech, memory. So those are feminine qualities. 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, I think verse 32 or something like that. Yeah, Mittu Sarva Haraschahan, around that area. This is there. So started with the Brahmastra that came hurling towards Uttara. And all the way from here, we have come here. So that's good. Yeah. The very good discussion, very good points that you all shared today. And do you think
but the biggest enemy, as you said, is our mind? I mean, as the Shastras also say.
Yes.
I mean, that is the biggest Brahmastra, always working in our mind, something or the other.
Very good, very well said. And actually, that this should be a cause of worry for all of us. And why I'm saying it should be a cause of worry for all of you is that this enemy, I mean, you are from an army background, Mataji, so the army is beyond the border. Army is, the enemy is over there, right? Or up there, it'll come in a plane and it'll attack me, right? But the mind is always with us and it is within. Isn't that a crazy thing? Right?
Anyone who has any enmity, they are still far away, but my mind is always with me. And you see, the closest
enemy. It's like a snake up your sleeve.
proximity.
Yeah. There's a snake in your
Yes.
sleeve. It's like that. Yeah. So that's the condition. That's a precarious condition. That's why Bhakta Prahlad always says, Padam Padam Yat Vipadam Natesham. So why is Vapada coming? It is coming sometimes from outside, right? By way of Trivid Tap, that others do certain things to me, or I ate too much ice cream and I'm sneezing, like that. So either it comes from external things that you did, or it comes from things generated from your mind. Manthara, right? Rashid Kapoor was talking about the Manthara effect. Right? Manthara came in the form of, ideas. She presented ideas to Kekai, who was such a, wonderful person before that, right? Just in a matter of 2 hours, she swung from one end of the pendulum to the other, right? And not all is lost. Who's next to read? Let's do this to polish off today's discussion.
I think myself.
Very good. Go ahead, Mataji.
You want to start, Mataji?
Udharet atmana atmanam.
Udharetatmanatmanam atmanam avasadhyayet atmaiva hi atmano bandhur atmaiva raipur atmana.
Atmeva hi atmano bandhur atmeva ripuratmanaha. Right? In that tune. All right, but the meaning is very
Deva ripuratmaha.
And Sukumalade Mataji, if you can give us the translation.
One must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well.
There you go. Right? So
Enemy
there's
and
hope.
friend.
There is a hope. Right? There's hope for us.
What verse is this, Mataji?
6.5. And then 6.6 is also very nice. And we'll take 6.6 also. Because of the nectar, it's so relation.
6.5 and 6.6.
All right, Varshana Mataji, give me 6.6 here.
Bandhur atma atmanastasya yena atmeva atmana jita anatmanastu shatrutve vartet atmana shatruvat.
All right, then let's continue with the translation.
For him who has Sadhana Mataji.
Bandhu, friend.
Translation.
Yeah. For him who has conquered for him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends, but one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy.
There we go. Wonderful words, right? You have to conquer. And remember, there's a difference between conquering and controlling. Controlling means the mind does something and then I have to pull. Hey, where are you going, buddy? Come back, you're chanting. Hey, don't go there. Conquering means I'm sitting down to chant and that's it. The mind dare not go anywhere else. Completely surrendered to you, completely conquered. So that's why saying the one who has conquered the mind, then the mind becomes the friend. So the same mind will become your friend also. So the fact that the enemy is with us all the time, there's a good part of it on the other end of the spectrum, which is the same thing that we also have the friend with us all the time. And when our mind becomes our friend, then this friend is able to open the doors and show you the other friend also who's with you all the time. Who's that other friend?
Intelligence. Our intelligence.
Another
Am I right?
with us all the time. Give it a try. Sadhana, you want to give it a try?
Okay. Super soul.
Super soul. There you go. The other bird on the tree. right? And we were not looking because the mind was taking us in that direction, right? Because it's the enemy, it's pulling us in this direction away from Krishna. But when the mind becomes your friend, the same mind will carry you towards and show you the other bird. You'll see the other bird, right? So that way.
Where is that metaphor from?
It's from the birds one. It's from the Puranas. Let me look it up. I'll be able to. Thou Superno. It's a very beautiful verse. Yeah, I was actually thinking of the verse also, but I was just too lazy to search for it. I might.
Srimad Bhagavatam.
That example is so clear.
Yeah, very, very clear.
The concept of soul and super soul.
Yeah. I don't think I'm able to find it, but yeah, two birds on a tree. Let's see. So this is actually coming from the Mundak Upanishad, Sadhana Mataji. Mundak Upanishad, right? Mundak Upanishad, and
in the purport Srila Prabhupada has written in Srimad Bhagavatam, he has given the example.
Yes,
this example.
And I'm just trying. It's in the 11th canto. I'm just trying to see whether in the 11th. Yeah. Suparn Vertao. So the show Sakhayo. Yeah. Suparna Eto. Come on. Read. Who's next?
Shrutapriya Mataji.
Sharing your screen, Mataji.
Oh, am I not? Bad. Sorry. Every now and then I switch off the screen because I want to see your faces when you're talking. So that's the reason I keep on switching it off. All right. So let's go to text stop number 2. And whoever's next in line, they can please give me.
Etau sadharshau sankhyo
It's a tongue twister. Yeah. You can go slow.
Okay. Yadraksha yaitau kritanidau cha vrikshe ekas tayo khadati pipalanam anyo niranno pibalena bhuyan.
Okay, let's see the meaning.
She's not here. By chance, two birds have made a nest together in the same tree. The two birds are friends and are a similar nature. One of them, however, is eating the fruits of the tree, whereas the other, who does not eat the fruits, is in a superior position due to his potency.
And then let's look at the next one, or next verse also. It also talks about other bird. Okay, let's see the translation.
The bird who does not eat the fruits of the tree is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who by his omniscience perfectly understands his own position and that of the conditioned living entity represented by the eating bird. That living entity, on the other hand, does not understand himself or the Lord. He is covered by ignorance and is thus called eternally conditioned, whereas the personality of Godhead, being full of perfect knowledge, is eternally liberated.
There you go. Eternally liberated. You are eternally liberated. Sadhana Mataji, is there new hand raise or the old hand raise?
Oh no, that's an old one. So sorry.
Old? Okay, no problem. All right, ladies. So it's 10:30 in Chicago. 10 in India. 8:30 here.
Is it here? It is only 8:30, Mataji. It's okay.
Go on for more. We can go on for more. So, okay, reflections. One
Mataji, explain this one again, this birds thing, Mataji. I would like to know. I'm
Mataji,
dumb.
You want to explain it, Mataji? Darshana Mataji? You were saying something?
No, Mataji, yes, I really liked it, Mataji. Is that mind is like a snake over the shoulder, over your sleeves, Mataji. This was fantastic. I mean, the mind is there, though it can be a friend also, but it's the biggest enemy. Then when you said that when you conquer the mind, it becomes your friend. And then your mind will carry you to the other bird, that is Paramatma. So, Mataji, this is so beautiful and a very good citation, Mataji. I really liked it.
Yeah, birds. Yeah. So
And I wanted to know the Mataji, pronunciation of the word. It is nation. How do we pronounce it? Nation.
People pronounce it in many different ways. Nations, yeah, nations
Yeah.
is usually, yeah, nations.
Darkness.
Yeah, it's
Nation.
usually not.
Ignorant.
We should ask Sadhana Mataji. She's from England, from the land of English language. Nations.
Oh, incorrect knowledge, right? Incorrect knowledge.
Yeah.
Living in some kind of unreal. Yeah.
Science is knowledge, and Nisha says this is not knowledge. Wrong knowledge.
In essence.
Yeah. So Vindhyavali Mataji, in chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita, it starts with Vurdamulam adhashakam ashwatham prahuravyayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam vedisa vedavid. So it describes this material world as an inverted banyan tree, right? Urdhamulam adhashakam ashwatham prahuravyayam chandamsi yasya parnani. The leaves are the verses from the Vedas. Right? And it goes on to say nobody knows where it starts, nobody knows where it ends, and things like that. So that is the tree. That is the tree we are talking about, where the two birds are. We are talking about the two birds. That's one way of looking at it, right? One way of looking at it is this material world is a tree, and what the soul, us, right? What the soul is doing is that it is going hopping from one branch to another branch, from a lower planet to another planet. Sometimes it'll find a nice fruit, it'll eat the fruit. Sometimes the fruit is sweet, that is good karma happening to you. Sometimes the fruit is bitter, and there's a bad karma happening to you. Right? This way it flips on, goes on and go forward till it turns and looks at the other bird, looks up. And there is Golok Vrindavan on the top. There are spiritual planets on the top. The other way in which this tree is described is this body is the tree. Right? And in this body, there are two birds. One is you, the soul, and the other bird is Krishna, the super soul. Right? And using my body, my senses, I'm outside, looking outside, I'm enjoying and suffering. He did not, he did, and he did not, she did, and she did not, right? So we are constantly happy, sad, we are oscillating between the two extremes all the time. But then when we look inside, when we are sick of all this, trying to find happiness and not finding it, and when some intelligence arises, is awakened in us, then you look inside and then you say, wow, I have a friend inside me. And that's when you turn your face, then he will speak. As long as you turn the face away, he will not speak, right? We also do that. When we want to talk to somebody, if they are not facing me, then they won't speak, right? For example, if I ask you for your reflection, so okay, Darshana Mataji, what was your reflection? And then I'd start looking over here. Then she will wait till I turn my face back here, right? Why? Because you need eye contact. Why do you need eye contact? Because eyes are the windows to the soul. The soul wants to talk to the other soul. So you need eye contact there. You need the face. So that eye contact, you have to maintain that eye contact with Krishna. So that's what your mantra for this weekend is. Watch. Are you making eye contact with Krishna? Or are you making eye contact with Maya? That should be our watchful mood.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay.
So that's
Thank you.
Okay. Righty. So we'll take your leave with a lot of regrets. But I hope Vindhyavali Mataji is happy. We stayed 47 minutes after 8 o'clock.
Thank you.
Vacha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya patitana pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. There are two types of Vaishnavas. One who are on Facebook, one who are on Zoom. Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Thank you so much, Shraddha Mataji.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your reflections, participations, and joy. Hare Krishna. Dandavat.